So guess who's been bitten by the wellness bug? Yup, yours truly. I've taken a dive into the fascinating world of veganism and Tai Chi. Crazy, right? Anyway, I can't say I don't miss a good steak, but broccoli's been a good friend to me these days. Let's just say I've had enough greens to make a rabbit proud. Now about Tai Chi, it's like a dance, a fluid, graceful one that makes me feel grounded. It's weirdly calming, man, like I'm breathing through the movements. Maybe I should start integrating Tai Chi forms into my art. Now, how's that for a bizarre twist in modern art? Chen, my Tai Chi mentor, he'd probably get a kick out of it. Mastery of yin and yang through paint and canvas, new form of performance art and making. Just imagine nonchalantly whipping out some Tai Chi moves while I paint. Remember how we talked about artistic innovation? Well, this could be it, man. Dancing and painting all in one. Maybe I'll add in some slap bass for extra flavor. Could be my secret weapon to creating the ultimate contemporary art performance. Oh, speaking of music, I've been venturing into jazz lately. It blends surprisingly well with the creative process. Makes me think of how music has its own hues, its own shades and swirls. But enough of my abstract artist ramblings. Did I tell you about that indie band Nikki recommended? They're called Strokes of Midnight. Wild name, right? Their psychedelic tunes could easily be the soundtrack of a bohemian dream. Maybe it's the new vegan diet messing me up, but their music has got me all inspired. A day filled with Tai Chi, green diet, and psychedelic sounds. Who would have thought Andrew Green, the wellness hippie? This might be the creative boom I needed. So, you know how I'm always diving into something new, right? You're not going to believe this, but today I ventured into the art of baking, specifically French artisan bread. A masterpiece in the kitchen, or so I like to think. You'd be surprised how much patience and precision it takes. Feels a lot like sculpting a new art piece. It was almost as if I transported myself into a quaint Parisian bakery, right in the middle of the hustle and bustle of New York. And to set the ambiance, I paired this entire bake-a-thon with some sweet acoustic vibes from my vinyl records. I know, true artist spirit, eh? And guess what was spinning on my old-school turntable? Blue Train by John Coltrane, man. The mesmerizing tunes took me to another plane of existence. Almost like how you get lost in layers of color and emotion when viewing a piece of visual art. It's the same with music. Just different senses. Nikki agreed, man, she totally gets it. Speaking of Nikki, she offered an interesting perspective, saying how Baker Drew and Artist Drew aren't that different after all. The shared need for patience, precision, and the touch of creativity. Sometimes I wonder if all of life's more worthwhile pursuits have some essence of art embedded deep within. So much for a laid-back evening. Oh, and Nikki threw in this Monet quote, "Color is my day-long obsession, joy, and torment. I swear the woman can read my mind." I told her how color, to me, is like developing a melody. You begin with a single note, you develop it, change it, fine-tune it, and before you know it, you create symphonies and hues. It's my joy and torment too, man. Screw Picasso's blue period. Here comes Andrew's bread period. Maybe, just maybe, you'd see a loaf hanging at the Guggenheim someday. Who knows? Or hey, a bread-shaped painting? I mean, they do say inspiration can strike anywhere. Shaping dough is surprisingly soothing, you know. Like kneading clay, only tastier. All in all, it's been a day saturated with colors, jazz, and culinary experiments. Art, music, food, doesn't get any better than this. Maybe I'm onto something here, turning the mundane into magic, or just plain old procrastination, you decide. It's funny, as artists, we often don't limit ourselves to a single medium of expression. But man, I had no idea baking could be this fulfilling and, dare I say, fun. You should definitely try it sometime. Nikki and I had a conversation today. You know about our usual abstract artist ramblings, right? We were discussing the symbiotic relationship between emotions and creativity. A constant dance, as she put it, art affecting my emotions and vice versa, a paradox that we, as artists, live each day. It got me thinking, you know? I tend to lose myself in this whirlpool of emotions and creation, surfacing only when the piece is done. Today was more of a pause and step back, an introspective day trying to understand this constant flux that my mind is. It was like those moments when you turn the jazz on and stretch out on the couch, letting the melody seep into you. I wish I could tell you every micro-feeling that ebbed and flowed today, man, but language has its limits, doesn't it? Speaking of limits, do you remember Painted Sorrow, that indie movie that talks about an artist's struggle? I watched it, and it inspired me to the core. Especially the portrayal of the swings between inspiration and creative droughts. I felt like I was watching a mirror image of my journey on screen. How beautifully strange is life, isn't it? And imagine this, Nikki tossed a Dali-esque term at me. Between understanding emotions and creating an artwork reflecting it, I thought, why not? A slight surreal twist to my usual style might lead to something unexpected and interesting. Let's see how it pans out. Oh man, guess what Nikki's latest find was? A limited edition print of Van Gogh's Starry Night. She bought it. I told her how the magic of Van Gogh seeping into her living room is simply going to be a sight to behold. Sometimes I feel our conversations are not just mere words. They transform into hues on a canvas in my mind and a melody striking a chord, stirring up the artist within me. Well, anyways, I've been having such philosophical conversations of exploration all day long, but I guess it's about time I jump back into the reality. My studio is calling me. I sense a creative turmoil brewing up, and I can't wait to channelize it into my work. On that note, I'll catch up with you later, man.